time. They rice of Yemen sorry. The person has to pay his workers that day. There's a lab, the soul will suffer in the baker, there's a lab, not to pay on time. There's two people who had a business. Each one had employees, called one Chatzkel and one Sam. And it was getting late in the afternoon, and they wanted to close up. So Chatzkel tells Sam, the restaurant's only open for another half hour. If you're going to eat supper tonight, we got to hurry. The kosher restaurant only has a half hour left. Sam says, what can I do? I still have to pay. Chatzkel says, look, I also do. They'll just have to wait until tomorrow. Sam says, that's the shame, man. You can't keep push them off till tomorrow. Chatzkel says, can't do anything about it. He closes his business, he leaves his 10 workers, and he goes. Sam sits there, pays each one out. An hour later, he goes to the restaurant. It's closed. He's hungry. He goes next door, buys himself a nice big ham sandwich, pickles and tomato. He eats it for supper. He goes home. Who's the bigger villain over here? Chatzkel, who didn't pay his workers, and he ate his kosher? Or Sam, who ate his chazal sandwich?
Guy didn't pay his workers.
Al pi halacha, there's a good chance that the guy who didn't pay his workers was over far more isurim than the person who ate. The other guy's not a tzaddik, but the person who didn't pay his workers was over far more isurim. We can go through, first let me mention a couple of shilas, then we'll try to go through the basic halachas, and then get back to the practical applications. If someone hires a babysitter, they go to chasna, babysitter to watch the kids, they come back 1:30 in the morning, and they realize they don't have any cash on them. The closest ATM is a 20-minute drive. So, could they tell the person who's babysitting for them, I'll pay you tomorrow? Or do they have to go now, drive 20 minutes, go to ATM, pull out the cash, and come back and pay the worker? Another shaila, if let's say the halacha is you have to pay a worker who works by day and finishes during the day, you have to pay him before sunset. A worker who works by night, if he finishes before the morning, you have to pay him by the morning. Let's say someone's in the dorm and there's a bacher there who gives haircuts. He charges $10 per haircut. Let's say you take a haircut at 6:30 in the evening, shkia is at 6:45. He finishes the haircut 6:37. Now you want to go take a shower before you go run to get your money. You have a problem. Once it's going to come shkia, you're going to be over a lot of and you can have naseh b'yem. So are you allowed to take a shower first, or do you have to run and pay him first before you do anything? Another place with a very common application of l'solim is if someone tells a kid, if you sit quiet in shul, I'll give you a lolly. If you do mishnayos bal peh, I'll buy you a sefer. The kid does it. Now you hired the kid, you promised him wages. His wages, be it a lollipop, be it a sefer, be it something else, be it $5 for cleaning up your lawn. Are you allowed to push off the payment? Or do you have to pay him? If you don't pay him that day, you're going to have an alav and a naseh. Even if it's your own kid, you have the shiloh. Another shiloh we'll have to see if someone pays his rent late. The halacha of Baal Talmud is both by workers and by rentals. If someone rents a car, if someone rents a bike, if someone rents a house, we'll see there may be a problem with Baal Talmud. In all these cases, if someone pays his rent late, is he going to be over Baal Talmud, even on the first day? If someone makes a simcha, and he has a lot of people he has to pay. He has to pay the person who bought the food, he has to pay the waiters, the photographer, the musician, he has to pay for the hall. In all these things, we'll have to see which ones is there Baal Talmud, and let's say someone only has a limited amount of money, how much, who comes first in being paid? Another very common issue is if someone's hired by a mosid. If let's say you have a school hires you to do some electric work. Now, who is the school? You have no idea who the school is. You don't know who the owner is. The administrator is the person who calls you up and hires you. If the administrator doesn't pay on time, doesn't pay that day, is he going to be over the isurim of Leisalon Pulasachar Itcha, and the Isser of and the Aseh B'Yemitit in Schari. Another shaila is, could someone pay with a check? If the bank is already closed, you can't do much with the check. Even if you put it into your account, it may take a couple of days till it clears. Is paying with a check gonna be a kosher way of paying, or someone has to pay dafka with cash? Now, generally, the Isser of is an Isser which is avoidable. If you're on the hiring end, it's an Isser which is avoidable. We'll go through the halachas. If someone's aware of it, most people who are over this Aveira is because they're simply not aware of the Aveira and when it applies. So we're going to go through some of the klalim of the halachas, and then we'll try to bring it down to applications. So when we marked the Chofetz Chaim said has a parak, he has a sefer Avos Chesed. He talks about in Avos Chesed many different halachas regarding money. He has two prakim on the halacha of paying workers, and he starts off. He brings down a zayar that says that someone who doesn't pay a worker on time, if the worker is going to complain and grumble, that grumbling goes up according to Pisei Rabbi. And especially if it's a poor worker, if this could cost the life of the employer, Hashem will take away his life. And even if he doesn't take away his life, if the employer is supposed to get different good things are supposed to come his way, if he's supposed to be matzliach in his business, these things will be stopped if he doesn't pay his workers on time. The Zohar also brings down, based on a pasuk in Kayeles, if someone does pay workers on time, even if it was his time was up on this world, Hashem will take away the gzeira and be marich yom to him. So aside from the chaymer iser, it's also a very good idea to pay workers on time and not to delay paying the workers. Now the Shalom Aleichem to the halachas of Al-Talon, it says in the Torah, it says Loisalin Pula Sacher Itchad Baiker, don't hold a worker's wages till the morning. Pay him on that day, and there's another possibility that don't let the sun set when you owe the worker money. The Gemara explains that a worker who works by day and his work finishes by day, you can't let the sun set before paying him. A worker who works by night, you can't let the sun rise before paying him. In addition to that, say, if someone pushes off a worker from paying him because he hopes that, push him off enough times the guy won't come back to get paid, even if he doesn't have that in mind, if he's pushing him off and the guy's owed $150, he's going to come once, he's going to come twice, and he's not going to come, another 25 times. He's over in addition 3 more lavim. There's a lav of loisivzoil, which applies to someone who doesn't pay a worker. There's a lav of loisashoik schar sachir, and there's a third lav of loisash ketzrayacha. If someone ends up not paying his worker because he pushed him off, he's going to be over the lavim of a worker of leisalin of not paying a worker on time. In addition, he's going to have another 3 lavim. So someone who pushes off paying a worker often can get involved in 5 lavim and naseh. And this is even if he doesn't pay him fully. Let's say you owe a worker $37.25, and you only have him $37 for that quarter. If the person's not Michael, you could be over 5 lavim. Now, if a person, once it's past the day you worked, if let's say the guy did not pay on time, whether he had a heter not to pay on time, the halacha is if someone doesn't have any money, we'll discuss what that means, but if he doesn't have any money at all, then he's not over the iser. If his bank account is empty, he's not over the iser. If the guy said, okay, I'll let you pay tomorrow, so he's not over the iser. Once you pass the first day, there's no iser anymore about Talmud. Once the first day is over, there's no iser. There's an iser derabanan that al taimel reachaleich b'shoyiv v'yeshitach. You're not allowed to tell your friend, I'll pay it tomorrow. If you owe someone money, you have to pay. If it's available to you, you have to pay it. There's a big difference between these isurim. The isur about Talmud is even if it's totally inconvenient for you, you have to stop whatever you're doing and go and get the money. Let's say you have a $100 bill and you have to pay a kid $5 for cutting the lawn. So you have to go and get this changed up. Even it's going to take you 25 minutes now to get it done. in order to pay him. The isser of pushing someone off is only if it's available for you to pay him. If it's going to be a big kircha for you to pay him, then you don't have the isser of pushing the person off. Any worker, when the time is to get paid, that's when the isser bal tolen happens. That means if you have someone who gets paid once every 2 weeks, so when it comes the time to pay him, that if it's let's say every 2 weeks he gets paid Friday afternoon at 12 o'clock, so that bal tolen is going to be that day on Friday till the night. Even if it's a year's work, if his year's work is over at a certain point, whenever it's over, you're gonna have the lava bal tolen to pay him within that 12-hour, that either day or night when he finishes. In addition to sachar to a worker, if someone is a kablan means that he's not hired by the hour, he's hired for the job. If someone brings his car into a mechanic to get fixed, so in such a case also, the cleaner brings the shirts to the cleaners. When the thing is returned, when you pick up the car, when you pick up your shirts, if you pick it up by day, you have to make sure to pay that day. Pick it up by night, you have to make sure to pay that night. Till you pick it up, even if the guy calls you and says it's ready, till you pick it up, it's not finished yet. Consider it's finished yet his job, so then you won't be over until you pick it up. There is an exception to this rule. If you hire, let's say, a sefer to write you tefillin, so he's writing with his ink on his cloth and then giving you the tefillin, we don't look at that like he's working for you. We look at that like he's selling you the tefillin. If you buy something, there's no bal tolen. This is very negea to different type of workers. Let's say you have a photographer. Photographer takes pictures by a simcha. And at the end of the night, he comes, he gives you the disc, or 3 days later, he gives you the disc with the pictures. The question is, will there be a isser of bal tolen now? So generally, a worker, there is bal tolen. Over here, there will not be bal tolen. It won't be the isser of bal tolen because he's working with his own camera, with his own disc, with his own film, and you're basically buying off him the final product. In such a case, there won't be an isser of bal tolen.
Let's say you want to wait 5 months now to pick up your car.
So bal tolen you won't have.
But what, it's still not yasha.
It's not yashrus. I don't know what concrete isser that there will be. Maybe they can start charging you for rent.
Right.
Now, there's another halacha bal tolen that bal tolen only applies if the person asks to get paid. Now that doesn't mean if you hire a worker and he's supposed to get his check, it's supposed to come on Friday. That's how it works every week. Then you're gonna be over. But if let's say the guy, you hire a plumber, he does the job and he leaves without asking for pay, then you're not over because it's implied that he's saying that he's masking to wait. He agrees to wait another day, or two. He doesn't want the money doctor right now. If he doesn't leave, but he doesn't ask you, he's waiting around, then the person will be over. The same thing is if you have a kata. I saw with them from Moshe. I saw also Shane Snipler. If someone hires a kid to do work for him, hires a kid to take out the junk from his backyard. The kid works for 2 hours. You promise him $25, and you realize you don't have the money with you. The kid says, 11-year-old kid, he says, "Amichel, you pay me tomorrow." A cotton's mechila doesn't work, and a person's going to be over. You have to go and get a hold of the money to pay. You have to go to the bank. Wherever you have the money, you have to go break your CD, which has in it your long-term CD, whatever it is, you have to get a hold of the money to pay.
You have to borrow?
If you don't have, you're not mechuyev to borrow. If you do borrow, you'll be mekayim naseh of paying a worker on time, but you're not mechuyev to go borrow. You don't have to.
Or if the kid doesn't ask for it, he just goes home. You have to go to the house.
So you're generally
can't
not
be
mechuyev to chase down a worker.
But he can't be Michael. The
He's
reason
not.
why you don't have to pay him right away is because
But you have to ask for it.
he's being Michael by him leaving, but he can't be Michael, so
Right,
he
so
has
if
to
it's
start
your own
paying.
kid or the kid's local, you would have to give it to him. Generally, you're not mechuyev to run after a worker to pay him. So even if there were to be mechila, the chiyuv of the isser of not paying is when you have the responsibility to pay regular hilchos workers. So if the kid went far away, so then you may not have that chiyuv.
But you'll miss out the essay.
True.
You won't be able to allow you to have the essay.
True. You may not be over.
He's not making it.
You're just not makayim. Baltalon is by Baltalon there is by a only by a ger toshav. That's a guy who believes in Hashem and has makabel himself to keep zayin mitzvahs. But otherwise, there's no Baltalon by a guy. By someone who's not shayim Torah mitzvahs, it would depend. If the person is tinuk shenishpa, there is a good chance there will be Baltalon. If the person is not a tinuk shenishpa, the guy went to yeshiva, then there will not be Baltalon.
Let's say you have a regular Kodesh worker you hired, so then you have to pay him that day?
Yeah, but if you're supposed to pay him that day, you'll run the problem of Chal Hashem. But if there's no Ishor Chal Hashem, the guy went home, he took his bottle, shit zachan, he forgot you existed, you may not have to pay him altogether.
Right, let's say Kodesh pay, okay, I don't have money now, whatever, you push him off.
You're not a Baltalon. Your standard guy is not, doesn't keep Zayin mitzvahs and is not nechshad to be a ger toshav. Now, if you have a worker and you don't have what to pay him, and you ask him, do me a teva, and do you mind, if a regular worker, do you mind if I pay you tomorrow? If he says, okay, pay me tomorrow, even if he's not that happy about it, you're not going to be able to tell him. But let's say you have a 14-year-old kid comes babysitting for you, you come home, you're a big guy, this kid doesn't know. You tell the kid, do you mind waiting until tomorrow? What's the kid supposed to say? The kid doesn't have a choice. The kid's going to say yes, not because they're masking, means they're totally not masking. Similarly, if you have the rich boss and the worker knows that if he's not going to be on his good side, the guy's a grouchy fellow, he may not have a job next week. So when the worker says, do you mind if I pay him 3 weeks from now, even though he very much minds, he has his grocery bill to pay, and he has his tuition bill to pay, and he has to pay his rent, but he knows that if he's going to say no, he's not going to get another job by this guy. So in such a case, look, pashtus, the boss is going to be over Baltalon because he's not really meichel. He's saying it because he's twisting his arm and he has no choice.
So would it make a difference if it was before the job was done or after the job was done?
Before the job is done, even with the kid, if you tell him, whenever I offer my kid something, I tell my kid, if you do a parak mishnas balpeh, I'll give you $5. I tell him, I'm not going to pay you on time. I'm not making up to pay you that day. So if you make up that the payment will be whenever, every once in a while I make an announcement by my Shabbos table, when you promised halali for cleaning up your room or whatever it is, it's all being promised al t'nai that it's not going to be given, it's going to be given whenever we get around to it.
But after every job, then you have the same exact svara. What's he supposed to do? He did you a job, he did you a...
Yeah, they know beforehand. We know beforehand.
I'm saying before. Let's say you didn't tell him after the job was done. I'm not going to pay you today.
You have to pay him today. Unless he's masking.
No, even if he says I'm fine about it, you're going to have the same svara you had by the katan, that he's not really masking what you do.
Not always. Sometimes I say no. Pay me today.
Alright?
And if you make up with him, then it's open-ended?
You can make up with him whatever you want, yeah.
He said, I'm not paying you on time. And you can pay him in
Yeah.
years?
Whatever's normal understood in the Upmach. If you have no money, right, and you're asking the guy to do a big job, you're asking a friend of yours to do a big job, and it's going to cost you $5,000. And you tell him, I really don't have any money, and I don't know when I'm going to get around to pay you. So that's implied that you're not going to pay him until you have access to that type of money.
Yeah, when you have access, you can pay him right away.
That's it's their bond to push someone off when you owe money. There's also chiv to pay. If someone ends up not paying, then he's going to be over another issue.
But there's no Baltalon if it's a month later.
Once you pierce the first day, there's no Baltalon.
What's normal? Like, wait 20 years.
You have to sit down and figure out what's called normal. Each case is going to need its own judging. Now, if someone's derech, let's say a guy works for a farmer, he cuts his tomatoes, and he knows that the farmer doesn't pay before market day. He makes his money on market day, then he comes back and pays his workers. So then there won't be Baltalon until market day because he's not supposed to get paid until then. Even on market day, there won't be Baltalon. There'll be the other Siddharabban of pushing it off. The same thing will be, let's say, it happens that someone who's known that when you work for this guy, you're not going to see the money for a long time. Once it's known and the worker knows, then when he went to the job originally, he didn't go in in mind to get paid that day. In such a case, there won't be Baltalon. Maybe the first 25 workers he didn't pay on time, he would be over Baltalon. Or if this guy has to go to, he's no worker in town that willing to work for him anymore, so he goes and gets a worker from the next town to do his work, without telling him his wonderful policy, then there would be Baltalon, because that guy's expecting to get paid. But a worker who knows already that this guy doesn't pay on time, so there won't be the Isra Baltalon.
Not what they
What?
That's what they had to matter.
It's that as long if the person didn't work with the intention of getting paid that day, then there's no baltalin. Another way to avoid baltalin, the Gemara says, if someone hires a worker through an agent. If you have someone else hire a worker for you, there's also the svara that when I hire a worker directly, he's dealing with me, he expects more to get paid. When he's hired through an agent, when I tell you, you mow my neighbor's grass and he'll pay you. A person's not so certain he's going to get paid so fast. So in such a case, there will not be baltalin, and this is even an eitz l'chatchila. The Gemara says that there are amiram who are scared of not paying the worker on time. If they won't, they'll be a little late. If the work ends towards the end of the day, and they won't get to it right away. So they used two amiram. Each one would give the other one a list of his workers, to hire him for the day, and they would hire each other's workers. This way, they avoided the isser of baltalin.
You get the mitzvah if you pay on time?
This is a big machlokes. Many places hold you do not. That if there's no, that in many cases where there's no baltalin, you will not have the mitzvah to pay on time either. Many places hold that way.
In all the cases, maybe, not just
It's not all the cases. Let's say you don't have money, so if you go out and you get money, so now you have money. So you'll have baltalin and you'll have.
But in the case of Mechila, what if before, if the guy didn't expect
So
or any of those
this
things.
is there's a machlokes in the place this. In many of the cases, now mechila also, if you didn't ask him to be meichel, you'll be kind that say.
So, but let's say you made up
If you
before,
asked him
and I'm not
already,
gonna
so
pay
then the chayr there's no BMT in schayr because not mechuyev to give it to him
you
that
won't
day.
get the mitzvah either.
Pashtus, you will not. Now, a lady which hires a plumber. Who's the plumber working for? He's really working for the husband. He's fixing the husband's pipes. Assuming the husband owns the house. Or hey, did you hire someone to do the lawn or anything like that?
Let's say a renter, a tenant hiring someone to fix something.
So that would also it depends who's mechuyev to pay for it.
About there.
If he's hiring for Baldir, that would be a regular shliach. If a lady's hiring someone to do some work, same thing about we said a rosh meisid. If someone's an administrator, he calls someone down to paint the school building before the year starts. In such a case, the Chafetz Chaim says if the person who's hiring is the person who's supposed to do the paying, the administrator is the one who hires, the one who pays. The lady is the one who hires, and she's the one who generally does the paying. In such a case, the Chafetz Chaim says there will be an Isser Baltalin, because since, even though technically you're an agent, but since the agent is the one who's supposed to pay, Chafetz Chaim says that it will be an Isser Baltalin.
But isn't she getting money from the husband?
She is, but it's called the Isha Neisenes Psech HaBayis. Neisas Neisenes Psech HaBayis, a lady who, she's like the administrator of the house. She pays the bills, she hires the workers. In such a case, and that's a normal case.
Right.
The Chafetz Chaim said there is going to be a Baltalin. Rabbi Aaron was yesterday Shaila about a yeshiva administration. He has a tshuva in Shal Shuvas Mishnah Rabbi Aaron. He says that there will not be a Baltalin because it says Baltalin Kula Sacher Itcha. If you're holding the money by you, there's Baltalin. If it's not your money, it's not called Itcha. Rabbi Aaron says there won't be Baltalin.
Holding it by you doesn't mean in the bank doesn't mean holding it by you.
In the bank is by you, but if you're
He has access. He's the only one who has access to it.
It's not his account, but
But he still has full access to it.
It's true,
It's
but-
not her account either.
it's true. In both cases, it could be that this will be the halacha, because if you're holding it by you, it's not your money. You're holding the yeshiva's account. By the lady, there is another sar that Rav Shulchan says that there's a rule which we say sometimes of ishtay kedufay, that means the husband and wife are considered one unit. So it's not like you're hiring through an agent. That's called hiring directly, and then there would be Isra Baltalin on the husband.
Let's say there's no money in the Shiva account, the money comes from the board, right?
If there is no money, then there's no Baltalin. Now, there is a shayla, if there's no money, could you go and make the school sell off their desks? That is a shayla. It's a shayla in the place commit to how far does one have to go? You don't have to borrow money for Baltalin, but if you have something which is available to pay, I'm for Baltalin. Also, if someone has money, let's say it's Erev Shabbos, they have money to make Shabbos, they have money to pay their rent. If you have any money, workers come first. There's the Isser. You can't say this money is earmarked for something else. If there's any money, the workers come first. If you have some money, let's say you owe a worker $1,000, you have $526, you have to give them whatever you have. Similarly, let's say someone did work by you and there's labor and there's parts. A guy installed by you a washing machine. He charges you $500 for the machine and $150 for installation. So for the machine, you're not gonna have an Isser Baltalan, but for the installation, you will. So in such a case, $150 you have to give him that day to avoid Baltalan. The other $500, then you're not dealing with Isser Baltalan anymore. So they will go with other rules, of regular rules, when you buy something, when you have to pay, when you don't have to pay.
That's not like a cipher. When the guys install the machine for you, so it's part of his sales.
By Sefer, everything he's making belongs to him. Over here, he's installing it into your house. The svar by Sefer is because the Shebach, the Uman Kohen B'Shvach Kli, that whatever mile he did to the cloth is still by him. When he installs it in your house, the mile he did is in your house, it's not in the machine. The machine is yours now, and the house is yours, and the mile is that it's connected. Now, if someone only has a little bit money to pay, so the rule is like this: if you have a bunch of workers to pay, there's 3 levels. There's a Aryeh. A Aryeh means someone who's not poor. A Ani, someone who's poor. And an Evyain is someone who is desperately poor. And so Evyain means he's not embarrassed to go collect. The halacha is a Ani and an Evyain come before a Aryeh. If you owe someone who has enough money and you owe someone who's poor for his work, the poor man comes first. If you have an Ani who works for you and an Evyain and someone who doesn't to go collect, the halacha is that you have to pay the Ani first. Because even though the Evyain is generally poorer, still, he's not embarrassed to go collect. The Ani is embarrassed to go collect, so so the Ani comes first, to save that bullshit. You mentioned that there's Baltalan also when it comes to renting Kalim. If you rent a lawnmower, you rent a car, there's going to be Baltalan. Renting Karka, in Shulchan Aruch it says there's no Baltalan on renting Karka. That means if you rent a parking space, there won't be Baltalan. The Gra and many places hold there is Baltalan even by renting Karka. When you rent an apartment, so there already there's going to be another reason that it should be Baltalan, because an apartment is a shaila if that's called Karka or that's called Metalton. The house is built out of things which were not Karka. If it was not Karka and you make it into Karka, this is a machlokes throughout halacha, Shemishpat, Yardeh, by the voice. If something was separated and then you attached it, does that have halacha of Karka or not? So if someone rents an apartment, if he's going to pay late, so then we're going to run a shaila, then you have 2 reasons why it may be chayiv baltalan. Number 1, because it may not be Karka, and even if it's Karka, there are shittas that hold there is a chiyuv, and we're dealing here with the Iraisa, so mitzad that a person should pay on time. Now by an apartment, there's another cheshbon that we'll have to see. Generally, rent is prepaid. We'll have to see what's going to be the halacha by things which are prepaid. Is the Baltalan. Right? The way it works in America generally is people pay it at the beginning of the month, not the end of the month. So at the end of the month, you owe the person for the rental. Before the month starts, there is no rental yet to owe him for. So there, we'll have to see if there's going to be
Every day that
Baltalan.
goes in, I'm not paying.
We'll have to see. We'll get to that.
Yeah, but it's as one, because you pay per month.
The last nakuda I want to mention before we go into practical cases is about paying with a check. When you owe someone money and you pay him you owe a worker money, can you pay him with a check? Like this. In some countries, in Eretz Yisrael, Marshall, a check is not regular currency. You go into a grocery store with a third-party check, and they'll take it no problem. The laws there are very, very tight about canceling checks, and bouncing checks they're extremely tight in Eretz Yisrael, and therefore checks are generally could be used as regular currency. I mean, if you bought if the guy did the work for you, if he built you a house and you paid him $90,000, then maybe you can't give him a check because he can't do much with it. But a regular case, you give him a guy a check for $25, whatever it is, that would be fine. There wouldn't be baltalan, that would be considered like cash. In America, that very often you can't use a third-party check. So if the bank is closed and the person won't be able to redeem the check, then he will not be Makayim. He will not be Makayim mitzvah v'yem tikkun and will be over baltalan, unless the person agrees to take the check. That means he's waiving his rights to get paid that day.
Today they have it on the phone.
If you could have it in your account, if the funds
It's on
will
your
be,
account.
it also depends if
It's on
the
your account, but it is.
if it takes time to clear. So sometimes you go to the other person's account. So that will depend. If you have money to cover, you have money. If you have overdraft protection, that will help with this. So it's going to depend very much. Could be the case. Now, if the normal thing, let's say a plumber, is normal, that's if you made up beforehand, that he's willing to get paid at a later date. If it's normal to pay with a check or with a credit card, then it will be mutter to pay him with this, because as if you made up, then you'll pay him.
Maybe then there's no buck on the floor, maybe you have to pay.
It could be.
Oh.
Could be.
If the guy's asking to accept this type of payment, then he understands right away, he's not getting paid right away.
True.
So it's like,
Right? Sometimes the guy's not really masking, but you tell him, do you want to check, do you want to come back tomorrow? And
right.
they'll say,
Exactly, but there's some people like, you go, they give you like, they pay credit card check,
right,
whatever
so
it
in
is.
such a case, that's fine. He's telling you that he's masking.
If it's normal to pay with a check, and a check is never considered a kimo v'yemet so any business that's normal to pay paychecks with a paycheck,
You may not have
then there
that.
will not be any lisol in that whole field.
Yes.
Most employers all pay.
Yeah, everyone gets a paycheck.
Or direct deposits.
Unless it's something, unless it,
Direct deposit, I get it.
unless if you can pay, if the check has to be available
Yes,
that day,
cash.
you should pay directly. That does depend on it. If you play pays with a check, but you couldn't technically get the money that day, you have an account in the same bank or whatever, then it may
You
be.
make it out the cash, you get it.
What?
If you make it out, you can cash it against your account, they give you cash, you get credit on the spot.
Okay. Now, if someone goes to a mikveh, these days it's coming less and less common in the Shiloh, because most mikvehs you have to pay before you go to the turnstile. But if someone goes to the mikveh, and the mikveh has a big sign, no credit, and he doesn't pay. He's going to pay next week, he pays once a month, he gives them a lot of money, whatever his cheshbonos are, forget about the gzela issue of it. The Shiloh is he going to be a Baal? So when you use a mikveh, what are you doing? So you're renting the towel, that's rental of kalim. There's going to be Baal. They say you have to pay right away. Similarly, you're using their facilities, you're using the shower, you're using the things, that will be rental of karka l'chayra, and that will also be a shalom Baal. So l'chayra, if a person doesn't pay that day, he's running a very serious shiloh. Now, when someone prepays, let's say you hire a barber, you hire a taxi, and you pay him beforehand. Are you going to be Mekayim the mitzvah of B'yei Metit Tzvi? So many places say you're not. Chofetz Chaim used to be machmir when he hired a worker not to pay him beforehand. Let's say he took a horse and buggy, he would pay him when he got off in order to get himself a mitzvah of B'yei Metit Tzvi. If you prepay, you're not Mekayim. What you could do is you could prepay the guy and tell him that hold the money until you finish the job, and that's when it should happen. That's when it should be chal. Now, if you put it in the pushka by the mikveh and you have a mind like this, they're not makbid. Even though they say pay before use, they're probably not makbid. If once you
They're
hold
holding
the
the
money,
money, it's the same thing, they don't care.
what?
The reason why they tell you to pay beforehand is they want to make sure you pay.
Right.
They're holding the
So
money.
that
they
would
don't
be
care.
if someone wants to chaper in the mitzvah. So he should, when he puts in the money, he should say or have in mind that the money's not theirs yet until after he's done. If someone hires a worker to do something, let's say on Shabbos, let's say a waiter, or someone, if he fit Erev Shabbos when he's going to finish, let's say he's going to finish right before Shabbos, in such a case, he can't pay him really on Shabbos. So, the Chinuch says in such a case you're not going to be over Baal Tolan, because it was as if you made up, you're not going to pay him that day. In Ar Sameach, there's a Chiddush, he says that you have to pay him beforehand in order to avoid there coming a time when you can't pay him. He says that you're mechuyev to, otherwise you're going to be over the license. So you could technically avoid the day going by without him being paid.
But the lisol would kick in Moshe Shabbos. Because that's like people that's when they made up there and they get it paid.
So if you make up the pay the day after, you're not
Or
going to have like a
Sunday.
You're not going to have Baal Tolan anymore. You're just
Only
gonna
be
have-
able to discover.
Yeah. You're not going to have yet. You're going to have just this is the Rabban of Lechush.
This mikveh doesn't have a sign. It's still in the hotel. You don't know.
It depends. You know, I went to Isaac Coach, I was a buck, I used to use for all the time. So I went to him, a few years ago, I bumped into him, I took out $20. I said, you know, for all the times I didn't end up paying.
Yeah.
He said, then I was much already. He said, you're paying for the next guy. So it depends on the policy. Some places are very market. Because very often when people don't pay, they don't end up paying. Yeah. If someone forgot and didn't pay his worker, he wasn't around when the worker finished, and now he realizes it's almost Shkia, and he realizes it's going to be over a lot in that say. The shouts, what can he do if he can't get a hold of the guy? So b'diavad, if this happened, a person should take the money, give it to someone else, then he should pick it up and be kind for the worker. It's best if he notifies the worker that the money is already being held for him, but at least this way he'll get out of the basic Yisurim, as long as the person actually got the money.